A common misconception in climbing is that body tension is primarily generated by tightening the core. When people hear, "stay tight," they take that as their cue to flex their abs as hard as they can, oftentimes cutting feet and front levering through a sequence. Climbers will religiously train their core through all types of exercises, but still come off the wall during moments that require high body tension. So what gives? This video will cover the primary components that are required to create body tension in climbing. We'll separate them into the categories of leverage and pressure. The first ingredient of tension is leverage. In climbing, we must leverage the holds on the wall to put your body in the best mechanical advantage. The easiest way to do this is by applying the principle of counterpressure and the 90-degree rule. A stable body position is achieved when you apply counterpressure against the hold that you're pulling on. The best example of this is pushing your foot against a foothold in front of you when you're pulling against a side pole. This is the classic lie-back position. The role of the foot in generating counterpressure is the push against the pull of the hand, creating leverage and tension. This is very similar to the body position you take when pulling a rope in tug-of-war. When climbing a route, we must always be searching for the next point of counterpressure. After contacting a new handhold, always look for the foothold that's going to give you the best point of counterpressure to leverage against the handhold. Once you develop an intuition for this, you'll constantly be climbing in a position of tension. The 90-degree rule is used in conjunction with the principle of counterpressure. It's a simple way to find the best angle for leveraging a handhold. All you have to do is position the forearm 90 degrees to the pulling edge and adjust the body accordingly. The most intuitive example of this is any handhold that's downward pulling. We understand to pull straight down against the pulling edge and position our bodies underneath the hold. Now adjust the direction of the hold and the position of your forearm and body will shift. A side pull will have your forearm in a horizontal line, either in the lie-back or Gaston position. An underclean will have your forearm in a vertical line above the hold, pulling your body upward against it. And any diagonal facing hold will have your forearm in a position between vertical and horizontal. Climbing with the principle of counterpressure and the 90-degree rule in mind will offer your body the best mechanical advantage for creating tension. Next, we'll move on to the second component of body tension, pressure. How many times have you been in a position of high tension where you move your hand to do the hard move, and all of a sudden your body just sags? Where did all the tension go? Assuming you used the dead point technique to execute the move, as opposed to locking off, there are still a few other factors that can cause you to lose tension. The first of which is knowing the correct areas to apply pressure. In those situations where we have to execute a hard move, our mind becomes extremely focused on the target handhold. All attention is given to hitting the hold accurately. Given the perceived importance of the handhold, this makes complete sense. But it also causes us to divert focus away from the rest of our body. What results is usually cutting feet upon hitting the hold, or having the body lose tension completely. The best way to fix this is to mind your feet. I mean this in the literal sense, as in redirecting your energy to your feet as you execute the move. The visual focus can still be on the target handhold, but the kinesthetic focus is on maintaining the pressure being generated through the toe as you move. What happens when you do this is that 1. You carry the tension throughout the movement and your body will never sag, and 2. With continuous pressure applied through the toes or heel, your feet will not cut. If there's one body part besides the fingers that climbers are obsessed with training, it's their core. There are so many exercises that people use to isolate and strengthen their abs in hopes of converting it to the most static of body tensions on the wall. While having a strong core is incredibly useful in climbing, the way we train core doesn't necessarily translate to improving body tension. This is because traditional core exercises like crunches, hanging leg lifts, and even front levers are all considered open chain exercises, while the activity of climbing is considered mostly a closed chain exercise. Simply put, an open chain exercise is where the segment of the exercising limb furthest away from the body, either the hand or foot, is free and not fixed to an immovable object. Examples include the bench press and leg extension. A closed chain exercise is where the segment of the exercising limb furthest away from the body is fixed to an immovable object, usually the floor or a bar. Examples include the squat and push-up. If we want to train the core with the aim of improving body tension on the wall, we should favor more closed chain exercises. This involves fixing the feet onto an immovable object so that we can practice applying pressure through them just like we would do when we create tension on the climbing wall. One of the best exercises I've come across is called extended traversing feet. Situate yourself on a spray wall or board set at a steep angle. Hold onto good handholds and stretch your feet down to the lowest row of footholds you can find, extending your body as far as you can. In this position, traverse your feet across the row of footholds, stretching long and holding tension by applying pressure through the toes. For an added challenge, use the smallest footholds you can find. If you're familiar with calisthenics, this exercise looks like the inverted version of the extended plank, an advanced core workout that also happens to be a closed chain exercise. Practicing closed chain core exercises like extended traversing feet might expose some weaknesses that you may not have noticed before. One of the most common ones climbers have is a weak posterior chain. This comes up a lot when we have to toe down hard on overhung terrain or pull with a strong heel hook. Our hamstrings just get incredibly sore. If you want to improve the strength of your posterior chain, I suggest including the barbell deadlift into your conditioning. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you were able to take away some new perspectives on creating body tension and apply them to your climbing. Remember to stay thoughtful and deliberate in your practice, and always be willing to try something new. Until next time, move better, climb harder.